Good morning. Stepped outside. It's crispy. Let's see if we can get this to... Can we get it to focus up this way? Yeah, that sunshine's definitely coming through. I'd say I was going to come out and... Coda, you got to get back in the yard, butt face. Came out to shut the gate for that very reason. No, I was going to try and catch the sunrise this morning, but too many clouds and all that from, obviously, cold weather. Pooh Bear, come on, butt face. It's at the gate. Oh, you're marking each side of the road again? You forgot that side? Come on, Coda. You gotta come this way. I can't open that gate, buttface. Yeah, come on. Yeah, I've got a... Well, thankfully I brought my pick set. Because I have this master lock that's stuck on my... And I say stuck because I don't know where the darn key is. One of those scenarios. So, you know, thankfully some of the snow's melted off here. I know a couple miles up the road, no, that didn't melt off. It was like, when I woke up this morning, it was like 21, 22 degrees when I got up. Of course, shorts and fluffy socks. And then, this is heated. But, no, my week going up and staying with my folks was pleasant. I enjoyed being there with them, and even though my mom's, was kind of in and out of it, I don't know if she's feeling sick or not. She's sometimes just has trouble communicating that stuff, I think. But it was good getting to spend time. I didn't like necessarily leaving so soon. But with the snow hitting like it is and all that, I just didn't need to take a chance of coming down here when it's built up to a point where I can't get here. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. No, I spent most of my time, hanging out with my folks and all. Yeah, it's just kind of like, living there like any other time. But, no, Mom spent a lot of her time there in her room or sitting with Dad watching TV and them relaxing together, which was cool. And, got the back of the truck emptied out and all that stuff because got to get a tote or something so it can empty out the rest of the front of my truck that the engine blew on, because we're just going to scrap it. I'm just going to get rid of it. But, no, as I was saying, I spent majority of the time there, with my folks. Other than the mornings running into town and all, to grab something for breakfast, because, I think by the time that, dinner is being cooked, even though it wasn't, like real late in the evening, I was already tired and passing out by those points. So it's like, it's just my normal. Instead of eating dinner each day, it was just pretty much eating breakfast each day. And then not anything else, That's how it goes. But, you guys done going potty? No, I actually didn't even get a chance to really go hang out even with my buddy Nate until night before last night. So the night before I ended up leaving, so what was it, Thursday night? Because, I just concerned for my mom and all that stuff. Plus just kind of, trying to unwind and de-stress, all that stuff just from being here. From here at the house. But now you guys got to see what it was like when I got home yesterday, and I diced my finger, but thankfully, yeah. So the stretch of the Band-Aid, it's just a bit, it's a pretty good cut, but excuse me, damn it. But ironically enough, it you know, when you get the cuts on the back of your fingers like that in the right spot where that, you know, that vein crosses right over your well, in that spot there's a vein that crosses over your finger in here, and so when you cut it, it just bleeds a lot. So it's like, holy shit. So when I cut my finger yesterday, it was like blood squirted everywhere. It was all over the kitchen floor, the cabinets, the fucking counter on the other side of the wall. So where I'm standing right now, I'm standing at kind of like a bar-like spot, and somehow on that counter space, there is blood on the counter space from cutting my finger right here on the counter. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, I got a little bit lightheaded from it because that was a lot of blood. I was like, holy shit. And what was funny is when I put the cut here next to the one I got here on my pinky years ago, you might be able to see the scar a little bit right in that spot. Right there. And it's the same shape, all that stuff. And that was a bleeder. That was when my old buddy Mikey had accidentally cut me with a pocket knife. He went to check it out, and he's like, nope, let me check it out. And he went to whip it away, and I got caught by the end of it. And I was like, oh, you fucker. But, yeah, no. Thankfully, I had someone be able to bring me out a little first aid kit and all that stuff, because otherwise all I had was, like what you saw in the picture of the last vid was... And that is, well, I had to use what was left of the paper towels at first and some packing tape. And then that got soaked through, which obviously wasn't in that picture, but that got soaked through. So then I just grabbed some TP, wrapped my finger up good and tight, and reused some packing tape again. You know, and that was until I was able to have some, you know, them come over to bring a first aid so I can get it cleaned up and patched up. It was a pleasant visit, but, you know. I'm still going to say I told you so, though. And they know what I'm talking about on that. No, the downfall of not knowing very many people out here at all, and dicing yourself pretty good, not having a first aid kit, and you can't even go to your neighbor's house because they're the same neighbors that basically they attempted to fucking rob you and steal the shit right out of your ceilings like this. No, those are definite antiques. Those aren't reproductions, but yeah, no, they go with the house. Whoever buys the place, they know what they're looking at. They'll realize just in the three ceiling lights alone, yeah. Just say that it would repay their escrow costs. That's all I'll say on that. Where these sconces right here, these wall sconces, these guys go anywhere from like 70 to like $150 a piece. And this, just this piece, you can find them for like $25-30 a piece. I was like, holy shit. And yeah, we've got that same thing for these. I just haven't put them back on there because I know I got to go up, pull light bulbs out, put them back in, make sure everything works and all. Because when they fucked with this, they just left it dangling. Like they couldn't get it completely removed from the ceiling, so they left it dangling there. And so as you can see, just like one or two lights where the rest are just kind of all burnt out. So I just got to, yeah, no biggie. But, yeah, no. Although, it was also nice to have a friend that I had not, let's see here. Well, in that, I'll just say the last time I saw them, I was maybe 8th grade, freshman year in high, 8th grade, middle school, freshman year high school, maybe. I want to say that was the last time I saw them. It was over the summer. And over the years since, once a blue moon have, chatted here and there. But it was actually nice, of all things, to go and to meet up with someone who had nothing to do with all this bullshit. They know what's going on, for most part, but it was, yeah. But no, went, met up with them and had a Coke and all that. Hung out for like about 30 minutes or so and all before they went home and I went home. Yet it was still a real pleasant moment, because it was like, it's kind of like a little, like, I guess you could say a little super mini reunion. And I do admit, I hope that when I go back up there, meet up again and go chill again like that, because that it was a good change. And honestly, it, some may not like it, but I actually fucking needed that. And going and hanging out with my brother here Thursday night and all that. We hung out for a couple hours there and all that. Watched he had me game out on some Cyberpunk, because I haven't been able to really game at all. I mean, if it while here, I mean, yeah, I've got the what is it, the Tesla internet. But my dish thing is up at my folks' place, and right now I can't afford the monthly cost right now, just being so drained. And so I'm stuck kind of relying on the phone and tablets for internet connections. But so I haven't really been able to game down here really at all, unless it's on my phone. And yeah, where I would get in trouble for supposedly being on social media all the time, I was actually just sitting here stimming on games, like from stuff like Call of Duty Mobile and PUBG and Crossout to what is it, Fishdom, and right now I'm playing this other one called Chrome Valley, which is just like Fishdom. It's, yeah. But it's basically how I pass the time. Otherwise, the only thing I would be doing is just sitting and staring at a screen, a TV screen, as if it's no different, as I'm sitting here talking about it. But all I'd be doing is watching just random TV shows and shit like that. And I just, like, I got to get my mind activated more often. And that's why at times where like, while I'm here, I'll put the phone down, go out, go out and about. Or like up there, I went on my walks. I was able to go on walks again up there. It was a little easier. Sky's looking more of a gray pastel, but no, I'm kind of, in the little bit, well, obviously I've been in this limbo, and a lot of it, like I said, it just has to do with this house. And once it's sold, then I can go. I know where my older son's mom and I are concerned. Her and I had a conversation last night, and, kind of, and she was stating that our biggest issue that we had in our relationship was communication. And I asked her, I was like, do you think it's possible to communicate with someone who stonewalls you, gives you silent treatment, walks out the room, shuts the door, and goes watch TV, starts doing laundry, dishes, and all this other stuff? do you think it's possible to communicate with that person? And she was like, no. So what do you think I've been dealing with the whole time? I said, I actually even recorded one of those interactions because I've been getting tired of it. I was like, I told her, I was like, if I was genuinely your ex-husband, I was like, what do you think he would have done about time he found out what you did behind my back? If the shoe was on the other foot, where he was the one that you did it to. She knows downright what would have happened. So does our son. And I gotta tell you, where we live right now, her ex would have taken full advantage of that, and she knows it. Instead of doing what he would have done, because I can tell you there's plenty of places to make somebody vanish here, and there's a lot of wild animals out here that are hungry. Instead of trying to communicate with her, I could have been the man that she made me out to be, along with our child, along with her mom, along with these other people. And as I explained to her, I understand the importance of family. And no, I would not get in between people and their family the way they think I would or will. No. I explained to her, I said, where you put all the boundaries onto me throughout our relationship, and you had zero boundaries on your family and friends. It's like, there's a reason why you had me practically shackled here at home, alienated here, with the help of our kids and our mom. As much as you guys, I know you're watching, hate hearing that, you did. I said, the entire time I tried to communicate, I was like, from text message to email to face-to-face, this shit. Communication doesn't work, obviously, when it goes one way, and you want to accuse the person that's actually trying to communicate of being something that they're not. Because as I explained to her, because every time she's come around and we visited, it's like, that's every time that happens, it's an opportunity that I could act like somebody that I was accused of being like. I was like, and every time I try to communicate. And part of communication is responding, not just sitting and listening. And see, I recognize there's a big game going on. And it's involving all of them. And I made it very clear to her, I'm very, very aware. Because our son had practice when it came to his grandma. And almost ripping that marriage apart. He succeeded on this one. Congratulations, bud. I don't hate you, but you need to put your head out of your ass. And I'm not in a competition with you on who's the better man and who could be the better dad. I think you need to look in the mirror and think about what kind of kid you were towards me all those years. I didn't have to be a part of your life. Your grandmother and your mom both know how you treated me. And y'all know the only reason why I was able to be a part of your life, bud, was because, well, skate parks and chained and locked fucking kitchen cabinets and fridge doors. Remember, I was the fucking asshole. No, I got used, even by your grandma, and you were a tool. No, I was a good dad. I was a damn good dad, and y'all fucking know it. Yeah, because that family thinks very lowly of those who are on disability. I was already told this, not just by his mother directly. I was already told this more than once by our son. I think they need to look at every fucking other retired veteran out there. And I think they need to realize that a majority of them, a good 90% of them, are on disability. And you need to ask yourself, when it comes to pensions and all that stuff, or retirement, pay, they're still drawing from the same funds, technically, not the literal same funds. They're drawing from similar funds. They put their time, effort, and their lives into something to technically earn that. No different than any other American when it comes to Social Security disability. You cannot get that for no fucking reason, like you see half these other people on SSI. Your guys' biased judgments, along with some of these others that watch this shit, y'all need to fucking start getting your facts straight. Because part of me, I am looking forward to when you guys get to an age and that option won't be there for you. and you won't have anything there for you to help you when you find yourself in my shoes or in similar situation where your physical health is going to shit and you can't do the shit that you're doing. And then on top of it, you got your children, their mom, their grandparents, and all these other people abusing the piss out of them, mentally destroying them. You guys did a good job on the abuse. Kenneth, your mom knows that. I made it very clear to her. I said, I don't hate you. I hate what all of you have done to me. And that includes her. And she sat and complained about communication last night. You know, about how that was our biggest problem. She had the opportunity to communicate last night. And she didn't, really. She just sat there and listened. Am I mad about it? No. Because I realized that's all it's going to be. And I made it clear to her. I was like, I don't see this working between us because I will always be in competition with people who are making this a constant competition. I said, I don't want to be with somebody who has to keep me a secret from their family. I don't want to be with somebody who's going to allow their friends and family and children to dictate the relationship. So I made it clear to her. I said, you know, did I turn my back on my whole family, you know, and all before they started treating me like shit? Or did I start turning my back after they started doing this shit? I said, I already figured out where Christian, outside of him and his brother, judging me on the fact that I'm disabled, I'm not rich. I said, you know, Melissa, it was made very clear to me that part of the reason my son hates me is because he feels that I chose her over him. Because I wouldn't leave her. See, him and his brother have been actively trying to break us apart since he was a junior, senior in school, in high school. And it was always on me how I chose her over the kids. It had nothing. That's his brother's mother. It'd be like him punishing me for choosing his mom to be with his mom and not somebody else. That shows the hatred of our kids. So I kind of got enough here last night. Just as our son has the right, when he feels that the family's become toxic and he's got to leave and limit that contact and communication, a parent has the right to do the same when their adult children are concerned. An adult has the right, just as he has the right to do that where his parents are concerned, his parents have the right to do that where he's concerned and where their parents are concerned, just like anybody else. I've heard enough about two-way streets, and really it's not a two-way street. It's a one-way street where I was doing all the fucking work here and then getting run over by all of you. I told her flat out that as long as she has no boundaries where family or friends are concerned, as in zero, and she's had them all put on me, I was like, this relationship would never work. So I don't feel like that getting back together is going to happen. Because so long as she allows these others to do what they do. See, here's the problem. This is what you're supposed to do, boys. Because you'll find yourself in that situation at some point or another, where you'll have somebody, and even your wives or girlfriends or whatever, they'll find themselves in the same shoes as your mom, where people like you are going to fucking hound her behind your fucking back to break you guys apart, just like you did. Because somebody doesn't like you. Or doesn't like her. However that works. Because you guys do know how it works, because you're doing it. Now, being in a relationship with somebody, whether you're the man or the woman, if you genuinely love the person you're with, do you join in on that abuse when that person's not around? Or do you tell those people to shut the fuck up, basically? Because I don't know how many times I've said it myself, in a lot nicer ways at times than that, when people want to start putting in their 10 cents when it comes to my relationships. It's not your fucking business. Just like it's not your fucking business who I fucking vote for. It's not your fucking business who I'm with, any of that. And if we're going to fall apart, let us fall apart. We don't need any of you to help make it happen. Just like nobody else needs that either. Yeah, I'm angry. That's no lie. I'm not going to hide that shit. It's obvious. Because I watched a bunch of grown adults, a couple of which were my own kids, intentionally go in and destroy their dad's life and got their mom's help, got their mom involved to do it because she was too cowardly to tell her family when to back off, when to defend her relationship. She didn't. Everything's been about money. She tried to tell me it wasn't about money. I was like, no, it's been about money the whole time. I don't know how many times I got to listen to her talk shit about me straight to her family, and then have to listen to even like her dad on the phone talking shit about me right there. And some of what was coming out of his mouth was shit that even our son said. Because I know how our child talks, and I know how she talks, and all that shit. So it's really easy when certain things are said, you go, I know who said that. I hope y'all wake up, because karma is a bitch. And when you're intentionally doing things to do harm to your own family like that, you're not better than them. You're actually not better than anybody. You're actually made yourself a really shitty human being. In all honesty, I thought of a lot of you better than that. My problem with all of you has been how I've been treated by you. My problem with her is how she treated me behind my back because she was too afraid to tell you guys to stop. Now, if you're too afraid of your own family to tell them to back off, it shows that you already know your family has zero respect for you and for your decisions. And when you allow your family to dictate your relationships in such ways by manipulating you emotionally, alienating you the way that I was alienated, that was manipulation. It wasn't just abuse by them. But then let's go run it back. The moment that things are broke apart. I'm already aware that there's most likely somebody else and I'm being used. Am I wrong on that, or could I be wrong? Yeah, I could very well be wrong. And that's why I'm not allowing somebody to come back into my life in a full-blown relationship with them like that anymore. Because I can't trust them, and I can't trust their family. I can't even trust their own kids. And so, as I told her, when all this shit came out, and over the last few months, as long as she can't communicate, as long as she doesn't make the effort, all that, I'm not going to commit myself the way I had to her. It's like I gave you a quarter of my life being committed and obligated to you, and because my physical health went down the way it did and I ended up disabled, you guys all fucking discarded me like a fucking narcissist does. There's a whole family of you. And the fact that my younger child became a flying monkey, it's like, you know, he's an extremely intelligent kid. And because I had more direct contact with that son of mine, because I raised him, I had higher hopes on him with things. My older, not so much, because he was taught to treat me like shit. He was taught to treat this family, my folks, all like shit, like we're beneath him. Because people who have less than you are below you. That's what was taught. If people have less money than you, then you're better than them. That's what was taught. I got all that. I got those messages very loud and clear, you know. And so yeah, I'm a bit, not just a bit. I'm hurt and angry by it, and it's not gonna go away for a while. I will say this though, while up there, I was thankful for getting to meet up with an old friend, because, you know, for that brief moment, I did forget about everything. My brain kind of froze a little bit because I was still processing the fact that I was seeing somebody I hadn't seen in, I almost feel like closer to 30 years than anything. It's probably been like 25 years, something like that. It's been a long fucking time. Longer than that. It's a long fucking time. somewhere, yeah, 25, 30 years. And getting to catch up with them a little bit, hear what kind of work they do, which is fucking cool as fuck. I wish I was smarter, because I would work in alternative energies and all that stuff, or similar fields as that too. I mean, that's why, like, when it comes to my generator thing that I've been really wanting to build, I still want to build it. I still want to somehow get my hands on those hydroelectric generators from the dams that they've been removing here, and convert those over to run off of a different source instead of utilizing water to spin the turbines. But I've been having to learn to start doing what some of them have done, and that's start putting myself first and put them on the back burner. Because that's what I've been shown, that's what I was good for. And when family has actively taken part into doing harm in my life, and through that they've done harm to my folks, I have to be careful how I say things, because I'm not about adopting other people's karma. I'm not about taking that all in. But I think they're aware that what comes around does go around. And just because I don't go around talking about my faith and religion constantly or preaching, because I don't do that. I make it clear that I have my belief in God and all that stuff, my faith, but I keep all that private. I think there's a young man and an ex out there who understands that those notions very well, because of his grandpa and her dad, because he was the same way. It's not your fucking business. I will talk to you about the subject matter and all that stuff, but when we start delving into personal shit, it's not your fucking business. I understand when, like, you're having issues or struggles, and sometimes you've got to go talk to a family member, a friend, to vent, air shit out and all that. They've got to recognize that the boundaries in that situation is not for them to fucking give their shitty fucking advice, because they're not the ones who have to live with the outcome or the repercussions of that advice. This is one thing I've brought up before that I genuinely appreciate with my best friend Nate. He's the only person that I will really talk about personal shit like that, whether it becomes to relationships, religion, politics, a lot of that. They're the only person I'd really talk to when it comes to that stuff. Why? Because he respects that we each have our own beliefs, just like I do. And that it's not our place to go fucking tampering with other people's lives with shitty advice. Because everybody looking in, unless they're wearing the shoes, is going to tell you, oh, I just leave that person, or I just do this, or I just do that. Until they find themselves in those shoes. I still remember being lectured about how it should be okay, how somebody's mother should be able to go see and hang out with whoever they want. And it wasn't very long later it comes out that because they were allowing their own other half to do that at the time, their own other half took advantage of that, just like his mother did. He didn't like the feeling of that, and like I told him then, that was called karma. He got to experience it then. Everything comes in its own divine time. Like right now, I'm dealing with my karma. I don't recognize it. I'm dealing with my karma too. Right now. Part of it does stem from me calling a lot of people out on their shit. Because it's got to stop. It really has to stop. Because not one of them are thinking about the ripple effects. Just as I explained to my ex last night, I was like, You say you're not doing something, but you're the one who keeps throwing stones, just like our child does and these others. You keep throwing stones. And then you want to stand back and act like you did nothing. I made it very clear. I said, I recognize it's not just her. I said, she's equally a part of it, though. I said, I'm very aware of the different ones that are involved. I said, like I said it to her. I was like, your friends, your parents, our kids, their friends, their friends, her family, and her family's friends, and different ones like that. And she sat there quietly, like, and I could read her eyes. Yes, they were all a part of it. I still have the shit from the attacks that I got from her mom's friend Patty, in which our son sat there and was messaging back and forth right in the middle of it, telling her to delete the messages because we had screenshotted them all already. I didn't realize it was already done, and it's on multiple things. I have more than enough proof to show the abuse that I've had to deal with from all of them. The attacks I've had to deal with. For what? Doing what I needed to fucking do. And when doing what I needed to do, I got accused of trying to play fucking hero. So how do you win with people who all they want to do is keep treating you like shit, attacking you, demeaning you, all this fucked up shit to destroy you as a human being? They want you to do what you're supposed to do and need to do, but when you're doing it, their response to that is you're just playing fucking hero. I look forward to when this is all done, because I've been done with it for a long time. I had been done with this for a long time. I don't know how many times I tried communicating with the boys and all that. Like, this shit needs to stop. It's the only reason why I'm still saying something, because it's still going. Just because you move halfway across the country doesn't mean you can't manipulate your mother and your grandmother. Certainly both know. Grandma's wrapped around that finger. And his mom couldn't argue that last night. Because Lord knows how many times he used grandma to undermine mom. Let alone other people. And grandma doesn't know when to say, no, this is a boundary. You need to fucking deal with your shit. That type of thing. Instead of going, no, he could never do wrong. He can only do wrong when he does it to her and almost rips her and her husband apart, but he can't do wrong when he's doing it to other people. That's perfectly okay, because she hates people on disability. And what they don't realize, as I said in the beginning of this, they need to look at all those retired veterans out there. Unless either they were born into a rich family, or, you know, they were they got lucky and became really successful. Almost all of them are going to end up on Social Security disability, not just veterans retirement. Just look at my dad. Is that why you guys are treating him like shit too? The fact that you guys are not even a military family. Just look to these other people that have served. Go, especially my boy. Go talk to these retired veterans, and go find out how many of them are drawing off the system, and you're judging your dad and your grandfather for the same thing. Because we worked our fucking ass off to get what we got. We didn't just go, oh, I'm depressed, I gotta hang now, I need Social Security supplemental income. For doing nothing. My kids, his mom, all of them watched me, especially at one point there. I was literally working 2 jobs. I would go from one job to the next just so I could have so I could afford to have some insurance, so I could go see a fucking doctor to get my neurofibromatosis dealt with. On top of it, working those 2 jobs, well, they base it on the time that you worked and all that stuff, and I was working double time. I was working 80 hours a fucking week and being told I was a piece of shit. I was working myself literally till I started going crippled. I could not fucking do that shit. I can barely lift a bag of dog food without fucking without damn near injuring myself. I can't get the big 40-pound bags. I'm stuck getting the little fuckers. The little, like, 18-pound guys. So I don't have to throw it up over my shoulder or anything like that. I can just pick it up with my hand and just use all arm strength. I can't do that with everything, and especially for long periods of time. It has nothing to do with me telling myself, I can't. I physically can't do it. And I feel like some of you need to have a fucking sledgehammer taken to your spines in 3 spots to fucking bust up your fucking bust up some of the vertebrae in your back just enough that you can still walk. And then have you guys wake up every day not knowing if that's going to be the day that you'll never get to walk again. And as I said to somebody else at one point, there's no pride in bragging about a parent who put themselves in a fucking wheelchair to fucking pay for your fucking lifestyle, when at times when you fucking bragging about when they did that, you were fucking in high school, you should have been fucking working helping your dad out. And that person knows who I'm talking about too. When I'm at my family's place, I don't just sit there. I do help my folks. I'm one of those people that you ask me, I do it. Or if I see my dad struggling on something, yeah, he goes and starts doing it on his own, I will get up and go do it. You wanna know why I didn't help with the garage? Because I did not like the fucking subtle fucking treatment that I was getting from my younger son and his family. And then for them to start withholding my grandchild and having no idea what the fuck's going on and just not even thinking about it until they made the ultimatum that they did. And that's what led to me letting them know I don't want any part of his life or my grandchild's life if he's going to be using our grandchild as a form of, as a tool to manipulate me. That's not okay. I sort of figured out enough here last night and all that from that one, for most part, one-way conversation that a lot of this didn't just stem from her. This came from my own 2 kids, her mother, their friends and family. She sat and asked, well, I don't know how people from, high school would learn about this, that, and the other. Well, because you literally went and messed around with somebody from high school who's friends with all those people. What do you think he's going to do? And I have a feeling, to some degree, I think, part of me feels like my younger son had part in that situation. Because they work the same job, so it's, one of my kids do. It's a small town. Cammy's not a very big town, and especially for my generation, just about everybody knows everybody. And the fact that I hadn't seen a lot of these people in 25 fucking years, and they all fucking hate me because of shit my kids have said, and the mom. And I'll say the one mom because it's not my younger son's mom. I kind of, as you notice, like, once I get to this house, a lot of this shit starts to trigger me. So I'm trying not to fall too deep into it. We're already falling deep enough, basically, on it. I'm alone because my children and their moms and their family hates people that are disabled. They think you're lazy and worthless if you can't go fucking work your ass off until you die, basically. You have to be rich. You have to have a great credit score. You have to have a big house, nice cars and all that to be acceptable and approved in their lives. It's money over family for them. And they're going to find themselves at some point, that belief system is going to get challenged. Now that they're having families of their own. Other people are in similar situations where they're being targeted because they're of shit they can't fucking control. I think they understand what's going on, especially if it's coming from their own family too, and people extending from them. Part of why, I do these vids and all is, so I can vent and steam off. I'm letting it out and I'm not bottling it. But I have that option to not allow people to respond because it's not. No, I'm not looking for advice on this stuff. I'm not looking for people going, this is what I would do in that. The advice I typically will take from people is coping skills and ways to make situations better, not worse. I was not taught that when things get difficult, or if there's not, or money or whatever, if you don't have enough material shit, you just abandon people or treat them like shit. I got to run my older son's mom through some of the abuse that I got to deal with. She got to learn more and more things last night. She's sitting there looking at me like, I didn't know. I was like, of course you didn't. You don't talk to me. I made it clear to her, I don't know you because you don't talk to me. We've been together all these years, and because you shut me out like you did, I don't know you anymore. And the fact that all these other people were involved and she allowed it, I don't know her and I don't know them. As I asked her, how does people that you haven't seen in some cases from 5 and 6 years, like her mom and all, that hate you for what? Because of shit talking and being disabled? To people going as far back as 20 plus years ago that I haven't seen or talked to, that have all formed opinions off of the same shit. And it all goes back to the same 3 people. I made it very clear to her, and it goes back to her and my 2 kids. One of them is hers and mine. It all goes back to those 3. Through my younger, he's linked through his father-in-law, linked to every other person in that school, in that district, basically. And the shit talking went on from there, on that part. Each little flying monkey did their part. Whether they knew it or not, they all did their part. And they did so surprisingly successfully. But now that I'm very much aware that there's a man out there 2,000 miles away and, very much involved in all of this, very much. He got his mom called out last night. I didn't scream at her, didn't do any of that. We actually didn't fight. I did exactly what she said that things needed was communication. I communicated like I've always done. Aside from all of that bullshit, I will say that I am happy to see that our son is taking care of his family like he should. The drive behind it, though, is pretty fucking sick. To try and prove that you're better than someone. I'm going to be a better dad than you. I'm going to be this, that, and the other. That kid's more than fucking old enough to know that I was not allowed to be a part of his life. He was used as a tool. A punishing tool. If I dated someone, I wouldn't see him for a year or 2. That was why at first, when I was with my younger son's mom, I still remember a time that we were all sitting out front, and I saw my older son's mom and her husband at the time start to come pulling up. I was like, nope, let's go. And walked away as quick as possible, even though she saw it. Yeah, because I knew that she saw me even remotely having any form of relations with another person like that. of the opposite sex, I would not have gotten to see my own child. I never cheated on her in a relationship like that. Well, no, I lied. She was actually the one person that I fucked up on that at a party, got drunk, and fucked up. And when I got told what happened, I flat out admitted to her what I did wrong. I had to learn from that lesson because I know alcohol is not an excuse for cheating. Drugs, none of it is. It's not an excuse. So I would never cross those lines again. I got my karma for that a long time ago. In the form of my old best friend Jeremy and my cousin Jake. And then through my child. He needs to grow up. That hatred, he needs to look in the mirror and realize that's very much taught. It needs to stop. It needed to stop a long time ago.